chasing success, when you are hoping to reach your goals, you're not doing so to prove anything to anybody. And that's something that a lot of people kind of get lost in if they do this incorrectly, if they enter into the journey incorrectly. The reality of the situation is that you don't have anything else to prove but to yourself. So let me break that down a little bit deeper. You don't have anything else to prove but to yourself, but which version of yourself? The version of yourself that knows that there's more out there, but at the same time, that's something that you're going to have to work towards. That's something that you're going to have to build on, and that's something that, is not just going to come on its own. When we're born and when we're living our life, we're kind of limited to these set of experiences that come with it. In those developmental stages, you're always just knowing that there is more outside of this. You're always knowing deep down that there's more rooms that I haven't entered, rooms that don't look like the rooms that I was in just yesterday. And you realize that there was experiences that you have not had yet, experiences that you might have heard about, but I guess may have felt far or may have felt distant to your current experience. But at the same time, you knew deep down that you were capable of it and that you deserved it and that it is already yours. And so that is the person that you owe everything to. That is the person that you fight for. That is the person that you wake up for and try to put a smile on their face. And so that's why I repeat, it's not necessarily about other people. You're not trying to prove anything to anybody else but yourself. But obviously, that's a little bit easier said than done. Um, Easier said than done in the sense where life gets really, really rough. You take an L and you feel the pressure of the whole entire world on you. But that's just when you stay remembering who you are, remembering your purpose, remembering that you are not necessarily doing this for the attention of other people, but you are doing this for the impact that you can have in the world. So then immediately from that point, you realize that your journey becomes so much bigger than yourself. Your journey becomes so much larger than, oh my gosh, like I just took an L on this post, like no views on it or something like that. Like your journey becomes how many people were actually able to hear what I had to say, had to experience what I had to give out to the world. And how many people was I able to impact through that? So there's like a rowing squad out here. That's I guess they're practicing and whatnot. And it's really interesting because right now I'm outside this bank that I used to work at. Um, I'm looking back at it now because I didn't even know that this park was gonna be the exact same location. But it's kind of like a full circle moment. Too often in our generation and too often just within those that we know out in this experience right now, we are moving without purpose. People have kind of lost the ability to dream, lost the ability to think outside of what's right in front of them and manage what's right in front of them. But at the same time, we're human beings. We've been blessed with the ability to create. We've been blessed with the ability to seize nothing and put something together from it. And so that's why I bring up this point that people have stopped looking for purpose in life. People have started to just look for ways to manage what they already have. And that's not necessarily how any growth is created, how any growth is sustained. And so as we keep on pushing, as we keep on working towards these things, it's remember to stay focused on that purpose. Just remember to stay focused on that purpose and continue grinding towards everything that you know is out there, even if you don't even have the words to explain it yet. Let's say that you want to impact the world in a great, great way, but you don't even know how. All you know is who you are, your capabilities, your strengths, your weaknesses. But at the same time, you don't have the words to describe what it is that you actually want to do. Start digging and start building. Once you start building, then you'll be able to map out a kind of idea of how you want to live your life. This whole world is for the taking. Everything out here is yours. You just have to go out there and get it. I was actually at the Cannes Film Festival recently, and we had a great conversation with this film director. And he was just letting me know that, like, that process of knowing that something is there right in front of you but either walking past it because you don't want to go through the strain of making an effort to actually reach it, or bending over and grabbing it. But then after that, just living your life as you want it. And the going will get tough, you know, like the going will get tough for sure. It's how you handle those L's. Do you take the L and do you bounce back, or do you take the L and do you stay down? And it's okay to take a day, man. Take a day, take two, take a week if you need, but just get back up, keep working, keep grinding. And then from there, you know, it's going to be just exponential growth. You do really just have to start chasing it though. Say the hardest thing is literally to start. The hardest thing is to start because the moments before you start, you're just experiencing all these doubts, all this pressure, all this self kind of like deprivation, to the point where you're realizing, okay, I need this to be perfect, I need that to be perfect. I don't like the way that this looked. I don't like the way that this looked. I don't have the right camera. All these different things. Like, all you got to do is really just start with what you have. Start with what you have and then build and create nuances around it. But I will say that does not mean that you produce anything or that you bring anything out to the world that is anything less than the standards that you hold for yourself. Or what you bring out to this world, what you bring out to this experience has to match who you are internally and what you actually want for yourself in this world. I actually had this dilemma yesterday, and I was actually editing up this video. It took me like nearly 12 hours to edit this video. And I'm realizing that like I'm not even liking it, and I'm editing it and I don't like it. But it's okay to not feel that pressure to be like, okay, I need to produce something to the world. I need to throw this out, even if it wasn't to my best quality. You know, you can't do that because then you're not going to be showing the best version of yourself. You're not going to be producing the work that you truly need to be producing in this world. You know, I actually struggled with this a lot too because, you know, you go through the process and you're realizing, damn, like this is just so hard to get done. But at the same time, you realize that, like, how much do you really want it? You know, like, are you about to spend those 12 hours and toss it out in the trash and be like, okay, I'm about to go in and start making this work. I'm about to do a whole new recording day. I'm about to set it up and figure out how I can do this ASAP so that I can make sure I bring out the product to the world that I'm really hoping to do. And, you know, that takes time, especially if you're going down the entrepreneurship route. You know, if you're going down entrepreneurship route, you are bringing into the world a very, very specific product, a very, very specific idea that kind of needs to be refined over and over and over and over again. You're going to realize that you're going to get to the point where you really think that, okay, I have literally created the best thing ever. I've created the best product ever and the best thing that I could ever bring into the world. But then you realize moments after, even after all of that work, it's garbage. You know, you got to toss it out. And then the journey just begins all over again. But this time, it begins in an even more refined and even more enlightened way. Hella successful people say the number one thing that makes people not successful is just giving up. You know, do you give up when the going gets hard, or do you keep on going? Do you love the struggle? Do you love it because it's evolving you, because it's helping you grow as a person, because it's helping you develop as an individual? Or do you hate it because that process is difficult and it's heavy and it's a pressure? Remember that pressure creates diamonds, but some rocks just break underneath it, you know? So just remember these things and develop yourself as much as possible. My sister actually just recommended that I should come up with some sort of outro for these videos. So I guess the sun's kind of out today. So I just say, remember that the sun is shining, and that deep down, even if it feels cloudy, even if your internal world is blurry and cloudy, the sun's out there and it's shining brightly. So I'll see you guys soon.